Alright guys, it's Tyron here, and as you can see we're here with a new game called The Lord of the Rings Adventure Card Game. This looked quite interesting when I saw it on Game Pass. I'm quite eager to see what it brings. That being said, let's kick off the show. Alright, rolling the drums at the minute. Alright, let's kick it off. Stick to single player for now.
Bilbo waved to the Beorning guards as he passed into the twilight landscape beyond the gate. A sickle moon was rising, and calm winds moved the grasses. Glóin was to have greeted them at Beorn's hall, but the old dwarf had not yet arrived. He'd wished to accompany them on their journey through Mirkwood to Erebor. Despite weary feet and a full stomach, Bilbo was in need of an evening stroll, to sing and to think, and hoped to be the first to greet Glóin on the road. Owen, Nori and Bomba were happy to sip the famous mead of the House of Beorn, especially Bomba. In the quiet way of hobbits, Bilbo moved invisibly through the night. Memories and thoughts of distant friends lay heavy on his heart that evening. The secret longing, the deep, dull ache that would never entirely abate, had grown stronger in recent days.
Alright. Alright, lost in memory, Bilbo wandered through the meadow and plain until he found himself at the edge of the greenwood, in the last rays of the sinking sun. Sense of growth and decay drifted from the trees. A sympathy of evening birds and insects was on the air. Bilbo came out of his reverie. Out of the corner of his eye, he spied a stir of movement. On a nearby branch, bees were busy delivering pollen to a beehive. Okay. The Bilbo and Beehive cards represented by simplified images on the game board. Each image is called a cameo. The beehive that Bilbo spies is called an objective. To learn more about Bilbo and the Beehive, each cameo's view its card details. Okay.
That honey looks delicious. I'll just have some.
On your turn, you take a single action. You may either act with a character or play a card. Since you have no cards right now, let's have Bilbo get that honey. There we go, took a little bit of time there. What is happening? Why we... There we go. After a character acts, they are exhausted and cannot attack again until the next turn. To resolve an objective, use a character's willpower. Bilbo has 1, which isn't enough to resolve the beehive this round. Okay, so that's pretty much the attack. The objective effects is described in the card text. Pay careful attention so that you know what card does what. Okay. View the beehive card detail, blah blah blah.
Oh, I can almost taste it.
All your exhausted characters are ready at the start of each round. Bilbo has almost resolved the beehive objective. Give it one more go to get that honey. Alright, give me control and I'll do that gladly.
I'll do the stinging. I've got it.
As your objective text says, resolving the beehive adds a honeycomb to your hand. You can X to examine cards in your hand. Okay, restore one thingy to the character. You've got a bee swarm to deal with now. The bees are none too happy with Bilbo. Swarms emerge to defend their hive.
Oh, my stars!
Bilbo must defend himself against the bees. Combat is based on attack value. Bilbo has 2. Each character and enemy has a health value. Okay, so it's health. If a unit falls to 0, it is defeated. Bilbo to attack a beehive swarm. Okay, remember after a character acts, they're exhausted for a round.
I'll do the stinging. Gah!
The Dark Lord's influence is everywhere, including in the adversaries you face, from the mightiest dragon to even those lowly bees. Each time you act, someone may take an action in response.
Ow! That hurt!
Okay, time to end the round again. Bilbo defeated first bee swarm, but the other one has injured him. No, he hasn't. Honey can have healing properties. To heal Bilbo, the blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. It's obvious. Playing a card is an action like engaging an objective or attacking an enemy. After you take an action, someone may take an action of his own. Okay, so pretty much skips the turn.
Regret taking that honey.
Only one beehive swarm remains, defeated to end this prelude. Thank God.
Lazy lob!
Alright, campaign completed. You know the most basic functions to make your way through the Lord of the Rings adventure card game. Yet there is still much more to learn. Bilbo's story continues in the tutorial campaign, which is divided into 5 quests designed to hone your skills for a life adventure. The first 4 teach you different aspects of the game. Okay. Once you complete these tutorials, you'll be ready to face your first full adventure. Quest 5, Flight Through Darkness. We highly recommend that you play through this entire tutorial campaign before embarking on the more dangerous quests to follow. Even if you are experienced with other digital card games, may the stars shine over your adventures. Ow. I just want to jump into the game in all honesty, man.
After arriving at Beorn's Hall, you've learned the famous Bilbo Baggins was taken by Mirkwood spiders mere hours ago. Without hesitation, you volunteer to find and retrieve the Hobbit, hopefully before he's consumed, or worse. And so you find yourself before Greenwood the Great, that the wary and the wise call Mirkwood. A sleeping evil once inhabited the Greenwood, but was purged many years ago. The forest has since known a period of peace and the return of wholesome life. As the shadows now gather under the trees, you sense a foulness on the air. You fear evil may have returned to this realm.
No, that's the end of that.
You begin to search for clues as to which direction the spiders took Bilbo. There are ample signs of recent struggle in the small glade, and several of the Hobbit's possessions are strewn about. After a few moments, you notice a gleam of metal on the forest floor. Perhaps a sign. You're about to investigate, as several giant spiders creep into the glade. They don't seem at all interested in assisting the search. Quite the contrary.
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
My axe is restless in my hands.
Okay, what's the change? Alright, so we've got Gimli. We've got pretty much got all the main characters from the first one. Let me move. Alright, so we've got two, so we can take these guys out quite quickly. Alright, just end it for now.
My eyes see everything.
Well, you lasted long.
He cannot stand alone.
For Rivendell!
Hammer and Tor! My lord Denethor!
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Oh, I shouldn't have ended it, to be fair.
For Rivendell!
I serve no man. Baruch, come on! I serve the steward of God.
We're not looking too good here. Laying on the floor is a small elven blade, beautiful and light. This must be Bilbo's sword, Sting, a valuable treasure. Okay. Oh, Gimli's down. I think that was me escaping, yeah?
Bilbo's mind must have been clear during the first moments after his capture. You notice that he slid his sword along the undergrowth as he was hauled away. When the spider's poison immobilized him, he must have dropped Sting. Encouraged, you venture into the shadowy green-grey wilderness that is Mirkwood.
The small cocoon is dropped before the lady. Pleasure and anticipation, jumping to and fro on arms and legs as if a spider himself. The creature gives the cocoon a kick.
Falsities, bargains, trickster, thief, cheater. Call him. Eats it. Eats it.
The enormous spider moves to hover over the cocoon. Spear-sized mandibles emerge slowly from its dripping maw.
Suck it to bounces, milady. No hanging or drying is needed. Not like tough dwarfs or tricky elves. Sweet and juicy habits. Just leave closes, milady. Oh. For precious is in its pocket, says. My precious.
The spider monstrosity is about to delve into her meal when a sudden noise is heard from the edge of the lair. Flapping its hands nervously and bobbing its scrawny neck, the creature pleads.
Don't listen to woodsy noises, milady. Eat, while habit is warms.
Someone has arrived, and the spiders move to greet them.
Oh shit.
For hours you delve into the menacing forest. Thorny undergrowth and sticky crawlers grab at you as if with minds of their own. A subtle change in the echo of the wood heralds a change in scenery, and you soon come upon a dark, gurgling stream. While the watery smells and soothing sounds relax you, you've been warned not to trust any water in Mirkwood, save for that gathered from fresh rain. The spiders must have crossed the stream by traversing the canopies above, but how will you cross? A nearby dead tree may be the answer. You attempt to push at the dry trunk, hoping for it to fall and bridge the stream. Unfortunately, your efforts attract the local wildlife.
It seems like we only have 2 characters for now for this one.
How may I serve?
He cannot stand alone!
Farewell.
For Rivendell!
The fate there is in my hands.
The opposition to Mirkwood's never-ending gloom and sinister wildlife has become too much for your companions to bear. Convinced they're no match for the reawakened horrors of this cursed forest, they take panicked foot for health and home.
I pass into the west.
Well, that went well. Didn't really have anything to work with on that one though, unfortunately.
It is ever vigilant, the elves have turned their attention to the dark stirrings in nearby Mirkwood. Bilbo was not the only person abducted. Contact has been lost with entire villages, scattered within the great forest. Concerned with what dark portents these happenings might herald, Celeborn and Galadriel called you forth. As Bilbo's rescuers, they consider you particularly well-suited to find the answers that their scouts have been unable to uncover. You are commanded to set out for Roscabel, and there to seek the counsel of Radagast the Brown. The wizard should help shine a light on the shadowy events transpiring in darkest Mirkwood. You gather what you need quickly, and set out for the vales of Anduin and Roscabel beyond.
The mouth of Dol Guldur pondered his troubles. The mighty orc chieftain Uthag had suffered recent losses, but had recovered quickly. Despite the setback, he had not only made good on his quota, he exceeded it handily. Still, the desire from the south is insatiable. The order had come to increase their numbers even further. The mouth did not question his master, or his master's master. Indeed, he had no free will of his own. His master's command was his duty to obey. Considering his options, he comes to a conclusion. To obtain the numbers requested, they must go further afield from Dol Guldur. The mouth would need assistance if he was to misdirect any unwanted eyes that might take notice. He would need to set in motion other troubles that would distract the curious and lead them astray.
Perhaps an old terror.
He muses.
A forgotten terror. Yes.
He whispers.
This might suffice.
Your party spends several days crossing the Vale, basking in the gentle sunlight that warms the late spring air to caress the grasslands. The journey is uneventful, until you come across an odd scene. Ahead, you spy an eagle circling above something that has caught its eye. This is not one of the great eagles of legend, but rather a bedraggled thing with dark feathers and oddly curved wings. It calls out once before diving swiftly down upon something you cannot see. Quickening your pace, you soon discover a horrifying scene. 2 bodies lie before you, bloody and torn. The craven eagle is attempting to make off with one. With the eagle distracted, a swarm of greedy rats darts from the underbush to devour the other. You must drive off the foul beasts and recover these poor souls. Perhaps you may also discover the nature of what slaughtered them in this clearing.
Oh, here we go.
Elendil.
No, it's
I
just
have the
Aragorn.
choice of Luthien.
No, just... Okay, we got all 3 characters again. That's good.
My hands.
For Rivendell!
Let's get Gandalf on the field.
The secret fire. Go back to the shadow. He cannot stand alone.
For Rivendell!
Baruch Kazan!
Oh shit, Gandalf's dead.
Baruch Kazan!
For Rivendell!
I serve no man.
Driven to a frenzy by a small blood, the rats swarm over one of the bodies. By the time you drive them off, nothing remains beyond a stomach-churning mess of gore. The scavengers ignore your efforts to scare them away. Hunts are proven greater than fear as they devour the bodies. Then becomes a sound that scatters the vermin in an instant. A chorus of howls that sends a chill down your spine. As well. Barely have the echoes faded from the air when the beasts themselves appear, thundering towards you with a murderous intent.
None shall enter. My eyes see everything.
He cannot stand alone!
For Rivendell!
For the White City! He cannot stand alone!
For Rivendell!
Baruch Kazad! The wars are upon you! Baruch Kazad, Adonai!
For Rivendell!
Alright, we've done this one at least.
The presence of wolves beyond the borders of Mirkwood bodes ill for the people of the Vale. They did not appear to be starving beasts. Rather, they attacked with cunning and purpose. Something drives these creatures. Perhaps the Brown Wizard will have sorely needed answers. Barely have you continued on when you hear a distant howl from the hills beside your path. An answering howl sounds from behind you, and more beasts call out from all around. The wolves show great cunning and appear to be herding you, but for what purpose you know not.
Okay, got to defeat 5 wolves. Oh, I get it. I think I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
He cannot stand alone!
Yeah, the blue ones they attack, not the bottom.
Baruch Kazad! Baruch Kazad!
I pass into the west.
Hammer and tongs! I serve no man.
could shoot you in the dark.
Teeth flash with savage quickness as the wolves are driven into a frenzy.
He cannot stand alone! Hammer and
Alright, so I'm getting the game slowly finally. I know it would have been easy to do a tutorial, but I'd rather just learn it myself. The wolves are upon you and you must flee.
Wolves on your heel press you on towards Mirkwood. More wolves race along beside you as you exhort your companions to stay one step ahead of the howling pack.
Let's go to defeat 4 wolves, if preferably.
None shall enter.
I serve no man.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
I serve no man. Hammer and
Alright, we completed the mission. I'm enjoying this, to be fair.
Gull Zubard felt the hunger deep within her. It was not a hunger for flesh to nourish her body so much as an urge to devour and destroy. Bidden though she was by the servants of the One, she was only too eager to drive her children forth, so they might succumb to their baser nature, to revel in destruction, to consume.
The wolves close behind, you reach the eaves of Mirkwood at last. So near to Ruskabel, you fear the worst for the wizard who dwells there. But you'll never make it to that place of sanctuary if you do not stop your pursuers first. While the trees offer some cover, they will also slow your progress. Within the woods, the wolves can easily surround you and attack from all sides. You must make your stand here if you are to survive the day. The wolves snarl and prowl through the undergrowth to encircle you. Taking advantage of this scant moment of respite, you gather nearby sticks, rocks, and other detritus to create a last desperate barrier against imminent attack.
Alright, let's do it. You have 2 rounds to fortify against impending attack by wolf reinforcements. I grant block modification to every character, that's good. So I say these two, in all honesty.
Welcome to Rivendell.
I serve no man.
My eyes see everything.
The dwarves are upon you.
Let's take out one of the walls. The wolves that harass you are no simple wild beast. Something greater, something darker, drives their pursuit. Okay, go here.
He cannot stand alone.
That's classed as a flying enemy. Find your bearings. Find your bearings to recover every captured card.
Hammer and tongs. Baruch Kazan, Adonai.
I hear the wolves. Okay, I can't use your wall anymore. Let's take you out.
He cannot stand alone. Baruch Kazan. Baruch Kazan.
Oh shit. You just gotta defeat one more wolf.
We protect all the North.
You completed the goal for this location. Oh, it's sweet. I have finally got the hang of it then. May as well just take out everyone else.
The creature called the Ghost hesitates for a moment at the edge of the tree line. Concealed behind lush vegetation, she spies upon the dwelling in the center of the clearing. There was power here. The crafty old beast had learned to respect power, especially the kind of power that might cause her injury. Her faithful companions prowl nearby, as always. They would offer their own lives if needed to protect their mistress. Each looks toward her, sensing her hesitation, seeking her guidance. With a grunt, the ghost at last indicates the compound. As her master had commanded, so it would be done. It is time to feed.
Oh, calamity. You've defeated the pursuing wolves, only to find Roscabel under siege by many more. And led by a great beast larger than the rest, but with the look of something far more sinister. This is no simple wolf, or even warg, but one of the great beasts of old that inhabits their form. A werewolf. Two great wargs protect the creature, hewing close to its side. As they turn to face you, the rest of the pack charges the gates of Roscabel, their claws gouging into the rough-hewn wood. You know not if the wizard is in residence, but it's clear the beasts are driven by a singular need to enter the compound within. You must prevent these creatures from breaking down the gate while holding off their terrifying leader. No mean task. The great werewolf howls in challenge, and you unleash a rallying cry in return. The battle is joined.
So I wonder how many fights there actually are in this episode. Final encounter, defeat... Okay, final encounter. So it's about 4. Remove Radagast enters.
He cannot stand alone! Hammer and
Ah, shit, there goes Gimli.
There.
my Lord Denethor. He cannot stand alone!
Quest failed. Ah, okay. So let's do this one again. Let's start from the start, actually finish them ones first.
After arriving at Beyond's Hall, you've learned the famous Bilbo Baggins was taken by Mirkwood spiders mere...
Okay, we've done this
You
one.
begin to...
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
My axe is restless in my hands.
No point in sitting around.
Hammer and toll! He cannot stand alone!
For Rivendell!
The Shire!
For Rivendell!
I serve no man!
Let's get out of here.
Bilbo's mind. For hours you delve into the menacing forest. Thorny undergrowth and
Okay, so back to where we lost.
I am a servant of the secret fire. Go back to the shadow.
For Rivendell!
He cannot stand alone. Baruch Kazan!
No, that one was simple now.
the dead tree falls across the stream with a splintery crack. You use the fallen trunk to step across, careful to not slip. What could cause wild creatures to attack so? Perhaps the corrupted stream is their main source of water. As you jump off the trunk on the far side, a deep rumble greets you. For a brief moment you wonder what could make such a sound, but only for a brief moment. For out of the shadows shambles an enormous black bear. It roars. The sound is staggering. It fills the air like a living thing, terrifying and primordial. The impact of the roar sends you reeling backwards, almost into the stream. It charges, an avalanche of fur, teeth, and claws.
Okay, just gotta defeat the bear. So don't know what that did.
Hammer and tongs!
Varukazan!
You hear it first. Branches and creak and snap as they give way before something of tremendous bulk. Then the shadow eclipses what feeble light leaks through the forest canopy, followed by an explosion of leaves and splinters as a spider the size of a wagon bursts into the view.
Varukazan, Adonai!
Complete the goal for this location.
This city shall be preserved.
Hammer and tongs! He cannot stand alone!
Alright, Spale.
Before the monotony of the forest claws at you again, you come upon a sudden clearing. The sluggish breeze and one grey light of the dell are a welcome change from the humid twilight of the forest. On the far side of the clearing, you spy what you've been looking for. A group of large spiders hovering over a tightly wound cocoon. It's time for a rescue.
We're coming, Bilbo. Okay, I'll throw that on you, because you've got quite a lot of damage, to be fair. Put on you instead, then.
I serve no man! Hammer and tongs!
For Rivendell!
Oh, fucking hell.
Into the west.
Varukazan, Adonai!
Trouble? I can help with that.
You tear into the large cocoon. Much to your disappointment, but not to his, the cocoon contains not Bilbo, but a being boy by the name of Weedlek. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, now we just gotta destroy the spiders, I assume. So he can attack twice, which is cool.
The lady and her brood are gathered at the edge of their lair. A band of orcs and goblins have emerged from the trees. Some heave empty wagons, others carry torches. A huge orc trumps to stand before the lady.
Oh, the moon is full, Spidey. Uthak comes to collect.
He snarls. The lady chitters at her lieutenants, who rush back into the webs. The spiders soon return with web-wrapped cocoons, depositing them in front of the orc captain. Goblins rush to gather the cocoons, loading them into carts. As the last cocoons are loaded, a hooded goblin begins screeching at Uthak, pointing to a parchment full of hash marks. Uthak glares at the yelling goblin for a moment, and blinks and pivots back to the lady.
We won short, lady.
The orc's grainy voice is mild, but laced with promise of violence.
Cold masters don't like short. Uthak don't like short. We had deal.
After recovering, Will Elk thanks you profusely. Over the past few months, he tells you, a number of tribesmen have gone mysteriously absent. He suspects they've fallen prey to similar circumstances, but offers no explanation as to why the great spiders have suddenly become so daring. Afraid to return home through the forest alone, Will Elk offers to join you, and suggests which direction the spiders were taking him. Somewhere under the never-ending trees before you, an old hobbit awaits rescue, or doom.
Quest complete. Sweet. So what's going on here now? Getting 1,000 award. Got 2 cards. Okay, it's just 2 honeycomb. Assign counts as a player at the same time for each player. Okay. And we gain some points for our heroes. We must complete the previous quest. Oh, I understand what's happening. Fair enough. So that one's done. Head on to campaign 2.
It is with a sense of sadness at the passing of an era that the elves of Lothlorien bid Bilbo farewell. He had arrived in the Golden Wood by a circuitous path, which began with a desire for one last grand adventure before he retired. Alas, his wish was not to be. The crafty old hobbit had instead found only danger, as he was kidnapped by spiders and carried off by their orcish allies. Rescued in the nick of time, Bilbo recovered his health under the watchful care of Celeborn and Galadriel. During the weeks that followed, Bilbo sat amongst the golden leaves and chatted with the many visitors who called upon him. Yet the time came at last for him to return to Rivendell, and so, with an escort of elven guardians, he set off toward his adopted home. Ever vigilant, the elves have turned their attention to the dark stirrings in nearby Mirkwood. Bilbo was not the only person abducted. Contact has been lost with entire villages, scattered within the Great Forest. Concerned with what dark portents these happenings might herald, Celeborn and Galadriel called you forth. As Bilbo's rescuers, they consider you particularly well-suited to find the answers that their scouts have been unable to uncover. You are commanded to set out for Roscabel, and there to seek the counsel of Radagast the Brown. The wizard should help shine a light on the shadowy events transpiring in darkest Mirkwood. You gather what you need quickly, and set out for the Vales of Anduin and Roscabel beyond.
The mouth of Dol Guldur pondered his troubles. The mighty orc chieftain Uthag had suffered recent losses, but had recovered quickly. Despite the setback, he had not only made good on his quota, he exceeded it handily. Still, the desire from the south is insatiable. The order had come to increase their numbers even further. The mouse did not question his master, or his master's master. Indeed, He had no free will of his own. His master's command was his duty to obey. Considering his options, he comes to a conclusion. To obtain the numbers requested, they must go further afield from Dol Guldur. The mouth would need assistance if he was to misdirect any unwanted eyes.
Terror.
He muses.
A forgotten terror. Yes.
He whispers.
This might suffice.
Your party spends several days crossing the Vale, basking in the gentle sunlight that warms the late spring air to caress the grasslands. The journey is uneventful, until you come across an odd scene. Ahead, you spy an eagle circling above something that has caught its eye. This is not one of the great eagles of legend, but rather a bedraggled thing with dark feathers and oddly curved wings. It calls out once before diving swiftly down upon something you cannot see. Quickening your pace, you soon discover a horrifying scene. 2 bodies lie before you, bloody and torn. The craven eagle is attempting to make off with one. With the eagle distracted, a swarm of greedy rats darts from the underbush to devour the other. You must drive off the foul beasts and recover these poor souls. Perhaps you may also discover the nature of what slaughtered them in this clearing.
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Mine is the
Before I continue, I need to I want to see if oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. It continues on, doesn't it? Yeah, it does.
Uthag moves a hand to the pommel of his sheathed blade. Several spiders flinch back, but the huge female stands her ground, glowering down at the insolent orc commander. For a long moment, there is complete silence. Finally, she chitters quietly at one of the nearby spiders. The minion moves quickly into the lair to drag Bilbo's cocoon towards the gateway. As the spider drags the last cocoon before Uthag, a small, skinny creature flies out of the shadows, screeching
Precious.
like a dying animal. It wraps his arms around Uthag's thick neck and bites his right ear. Black gore spills, and Uthag's furious roar joins the creature's tinny wail. The screams echo through the trees and cobwebs.
As you make your way through the dense forest, a sudden shriek is heard from afar. Praying that hobbits are incapable of so pitiful a sound, you move quickly to investigate its source. The forest soon shows signs of giant spider webs. At first, only a few thick strands are seen between canopy and trunk, but the webbing quickly grows denser. Before long, the sticky ropes are thick enough to block your path. About to hack away at the webbing, you sense a subtle shift in the shadows and glance up. Only a few feet above your head, the myriad glare of malicious eyes observe you. Mandibles drip with ichor. Bloated bodies tremble with anticipation.
Alright, here we go.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
I shall claim full amends for every fall and stubbed toe.
Trouble? I can help with that. Run them down!
Baruch Kazan! I serve no man.
Alright, he's in a defense frenzy all of a sudden.
For
Holy shit.
I serve no man.
For Rivendell!
Run them down!
I got a little trophy, that's cool. Can't see shit though. There we go.
The dwarves are upon you. I serve no man.
For Rivendell!
Ah!
You find your boots tangled in thick webs that stretch over the forest floor. You're able to cut your way out, but it takes some time.
I serve no man.
For Rivendell!
My eyes see everything. There.
He cannot stand alone.
Hector!
Alright, get rid of you.
For Rivendell!
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Welcome to Rivendell.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
As if the spiders weren't bad enough, thorny vines hide in the underbrush tear through your clothing and draw blood. Worse still, the fresh crimson, whatever that word is, your foes and makes them strike with incredible ferocity. Fuck's sake.
Farewell.
I serve no man. Go back to the abyss.
Let's redo this one. I think we've fucked ourselves, to be fair.
As you make your...
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
My axe is restless in my hands.
Trouble? I can help with that.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Our history shall be preserved. There is much still to be learned. Charge!
Roll away from your enemy and plunge your blade between two plates in the spider's stomach. It shrieks in pain as black ichor spills out the dirt. For a brief moment, the dense canopy and dark clouds part above you, giving you a glimpse of blah 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 star. This beacon of hope rejuvenates you in the noble quest to save Bilbo. Okay, need number 7, that's why. Okay, never mind.
Who are you? And what do you want?
For Rivendell!
Baruch Khazan!
So when they're shielded up, your attack pretty much gets halved.
My axe swings still.
You find your boots tangled. Okay, I've done that one. They should be pretty much able to destroy him now. Alright, let's get out of this place. As you finish putting down the last of the giant spiders, you turn to see spiders wrapping your companions in cocoons. With a cry of alarm, you charge to their rescue, but not before being blocked by more incoming spiders. You must rescue it quickly. Okay, spiders will catch two of your heroes. Select the heroes you wish to remain in play.
It's gone from bad to worse. You ventured into Mirkwood to free a captured hobbit, but now 2 of your party have themselves been captured. Unwholesome strands break apart with a snap as you cut and saw your way deeper into the lair. Mercifully, the web's denizens are either absent or preoccupied, for you catch only brief glances of hairy bodies moving through this world of pale webbing and grey-green murk. After slow and tiring progress, you come upon the nexus of the lair. An eldritch clearing devoid of webs, except for the huge sinister shape of a dead tree. Cocoons of many sizes hang from the branches like depraved fruit. A few of the cocoons are of the approximate size to your lost friends. One even moves fitfully. You move to open the cocoons, but the lair's inhabitants have finally noticed the intrusion into their midst. Clacking spiders soon surround you, strangely in league with several orcs.
Rescue your companions by freeing them from the cocoon. Okay, simple enough.
How may I serve?
For Rivendell!
Fly away if you can.
Opening the cocoon, you don't find who you were looking for, but you do find lambus bread.
This way. Find the halfling.
For the master!
Monsters I've noticed.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
For Rivendell!
Opening the cocoon, you realize this is not your friend. You jump back as an orc marauder lashes out at you. Fuck. Why are spiders working with orcs? Whatever the reason, They work together in perfect unison, driving you away from their prey. As if the spiders weren't bad enough. Thorny vine. Okay, read that one.
For Rivendell!
Breaking open the cocoon, you find one of your lost heroes
I
inside.
shall claim full amends for every fall and stopped toe.
Now get me out of here.
Bruised and bloodied, the creature whimpered at the cruelness of the world. It would have been killed had the orcs not been distracted by the intruders in the lady's pantry. It had escaped into the tangled undergrowth and shrouded itself in shadows from where it had seen Ulfthak and his caravan depart. All that remained was the faint creaking of the wagons fading into the gloom. The lady remained before the gateway. When the clangor of battle from within the lair diminished, she began to shift her monstrous bulk. A strange and battle-worn band soon emerged from the webs, faces paling in despair at the sight of the bloated monster. The Lady of Bogwood, brood mother of the western forest, descendant of the great Ungoliant herself, lost her composure and hissed with rage. These strangers had defiled her sanctum, her lair. Punishment was due.
Okay, final encounter. We ain't got much to work with.
I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me. Back to the shadow. Farewell.
Hammer and
For Rivendell!
Fly, you fools.
You take heart in the courage of your companions and act as one to defy the Gargorian spider. Okay, I think it's trying to read all that. Dispersing in a semicircle around her, your party unleashes a summit of shouts and clashing blades. Your antics harry the of distraction. Okay. Three.
hammer and the dwarves are upon you. Baruch-Hazar Adonai.
None shall enter.
Barukazad!
For Rivendell!
I'm gonna restart this because I need better heroes at this stage.
As you make your
I
way,
fucked it.
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
I will go and look on the halls of Durin.
Trouble? I can help with that.
My lord Decipher! Hammer and
That's enough! Tom Bombadil is a merry fellow. Bright blue is his jacket and his boots are yellow. Ah!
I serve no man.
That's enough!
Charge! I serve no man.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Little bastard. Every time I'm about to get somewhere, they always do something. Alright, sweet. I'm in a way better position than last time, which is good.
It's gone from bad to worse.
I forgot about this
You
stage
ventured
already.
into Mirkwood to free a captured hobbit.
Took the better one that will help me more here as well. Little bitch.
How may I serve?
I'll make you squeak, you miserable rat!
I serve no man.
Nah, fuck.
You wish you were dead already. Not on my watch. We'll put red maggot holes in your belly. That's enough.
I serve no man.
Of course it would be. Oh.
I serve no man.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
Why didn't I get Gimli back? Oh, I'm just gonna have to try and make do without him now then.
Bruised and bloodied, the creature whimpered at the cruelness of the world.
That's enough.
Farewell.
reserved.
For Rivendell!
My eyes see everything.
Oh, that's close.
That's enough!
I serve no man.
Alright, managed to smash it this time.
The forest floor is awash with the marks of iron-shod feet and wagon tracks. You begin slowly to make sense of the situation. The spiders are gathering slaves for a host of orcs, intended for some devilry yet to be understood. Deep in thought, you hike a sensible distance from the spider's lair to camp for the night, unsure of what to do next. As the shadows coalesce into night, you hear someone, something, creeping through the undergrowth beyond the firelight. After silent glances, a few nods, and a quick dash, the creep is quickly caught. Shrieking like a stuck pig, it bites and flails about with surprising strength. Its energy soon spent, the creature curls itself into a sobbing ball. You catch a few words amongst its rambling litany of self-pity, such as precious and... a name? Could it be? How that name would be known to the wretch you cannot guess, for the creature is muttering,
Baggins!
Now let's go into part 3.
After defeating a colony of Mirkwood spiders, you discover that the 8-legged abominations had been gathering slaves for a host of orcs. You believe Bilbo Baggins was taken south alongside other prisoners. Before deciding on your next course of action, you capture an unpleasant creature lurking about your camp. To your surprise, the creature appears to know the name Baggins. The creature already looks beaten and bruised, so you attempt to use kindness to extract information. However, after being fed both food and gentle words, the nasty thing remains thoroughly unhelpful. Before dawn, a more pressing problem arises. As dull grey seeps into the black edges of night, flying dark shapes begin to swoop onto the branches above you. They rapidly multiply, and before long it's as if you've been caught inside a black whirlwind.
Elendil!
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
I will go and look on the halls of Durin.
Let's get rid of you. That's more of a hindrance than a help. What's the point in that?
He cannot stand alone. He cannot stand alone.
Let's do this again. I fucked it
After
up.
defeating a colony...
If by life or death I can save you, I will.
Mine is the choice of Luthien.
My axe is restless in my hands. Not on my watch. Baruch Kazel!
The orcs are cowardly, and you sense that they wish to return to the safety of their stronghold. Your persist assaults weaken their resolve and push them closer to a full rout. Alright, so we're going to be up against orcs before long.
For Rivendell!
How may I serve?
He cannot stand alone.
Hammer and tongs!
Kindness and forgiveness, masters. The creature gurgles and protests before you. Masters looking for Baggins. Orcs go to hills of haunted stones. With slaves. Orcs takes Baggins too. Precious, but Smeagol knows trail to Woodses. Find Orcs and Baggins we can. Follow Smeagol to find Baggins. Should you follow the trail of the Orc caravan, or will you trust the strange creature Smeagol? I trust Smeagol.
You decide trusting Smeagol is worth the risk. If the creature knows a way to get ahead of the caravan, you'll have a significant advantage in rescuing Bilbo from the orcs. As you follow Smeagol through the thick vegetation, the terrain begins to dip. Before long, the air is laced with mist and the soil grows spongy. You're being led into a swamp.
Swampses! Yes! Cool, nice swampses!
Smeagol explains.
With frogses, fishes, and snakes as precious. Tasty.
He pauses to crane his neck and sniff the air.
Smeagol looks to find right spot, masters. Safe way through mist and bogses. Orkses and waggonses must go around, you see. No tasty frogses for orkses.
Smeagol continues to sniff around the area, looking for some landmark, some sign that he's on the right trail. He suddenly smells something unexpected. The thickets begin to rustle. The air begins to hum, and unkind things emerge.
Everyone's the dead in it, or no, just more spiders. Okay, follow Smeagol as he finds his way through the marshes. Smeagol must survive.
Farewell.
I serve no man.
The air suddenly goes still. Even the ever-present chattering of birds ceases abruptly. You stop, peering into the surrounding trees, just as arrows fly at you from seamlessly all directions. Ah, I can't put on Smeagol. What's blocking you? Though crude and cheaply forged, the weapons of fallen orcs serve as good backup weapons. Your party picks over the bodies, salvaging what you can. It grants one attack to every character, does not affect Smeagol. Oh, I think Smeagol's dead. Yeah. Fuck.
After defeating a colony of Mirkwood spiders, you discover that the 8-legged abominations had been gathering slaves.
Elendil.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
My axe is restless in my hands.
Alright, battered through that one. Oh yeah, it's not over, is it? Shit.
He cannot stand alone!
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Oh, I didn't have to stand it the whole time. Follow the caravan this time.
You have neither time nor inclination to follow the strange Smeagol creature. Rather, by day or dark, you'll chase down the orc caravan to free its captives, especially Bilbo. You gather your packs and set off. Smeagol watches you go. His ghoulish eyes glow dull yellow. After a few moments, he slinks away into the trees, muttering to himself. You wonder whether you'll see the wretch again. You hope not. The caravan is easily tracked, and you make good time. Even so, the day is mostly spent before you hear the faint noise of rolling wheels ahead. Exultant to have reached your quarry, you hasten your steps, hoping to surprise and overwhelm the caravan's rear guard. In the excitement, you forget to consider the keen noses and sharp ears of goblins. As you round a copse of dead trees, you suddenly find yourself facing a group of enemies, alert and weapons ready. So much for surprise.
Well, we're intelligent, aren't we?
pinch nab.
Our history shall be preserved.
He cannot stand alone! The fate of the bearer is in my hands no longer.
Hammer and tongs! The dwarves are upon you. Varukazan!
Ah, fuck's
After
sake.
defeating a colony of Mirkwood spiders, you discover
I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
I am Arwen, Elrond's daughter.
I shall claim full amends for every fall and stopped toe.
For Rivendell!
I serve no man.
Varukazan!
My lord Denethor!
Hammer and tongs!
For Rivendell!
Let's not make the same mistake again this time.
you have neither time nor inclination to follow the strange Smeagol creature. Rather,
You're useless in this one.
I'll put an arrow in your guts.
I serve no man.
For Rivendell!
He cannot stand alone.
The fuck?
Fate of the bearer is in my hands no longer.
Baruch Hazard!
Oh, my lad.
That guy was powerfully insane.
The sound of horns and iron-shod feet clangor in the evening air. In the distance, you see torchlights flicker into life on the walls of what looks to be an old tower. Cursing your own carelessness, you dash into the thickets, orc horns blaring close behind. A fallen tree lying against mossy boulders must serve as a hiding place. You glimpse torchlit shapes of many enemies moving through the trees. By luck or fate, none come closer than 100 feet of you. After some time, the horns stop braying, and scattered groups of orcs return sullenly through the forest. Just as you begin to feel the danger has passed, you hear nearby rustling and the sound of voices. You recognize the grating speech of the enemy, and another voice. A whining, pitiful one you'd hoped never to hear again. Smeagol must have followed you, and has been captured by orcs. Loathsome as the creature may be, something tells you not to stand idly by while Smeagol is dragged towards certain death.
Say Smeagol and then try to hide.
I am a servant of the secret fire. You cannot pass!
Fly, you fools.
Baruch Hazard!
For Rivendell! For Rivendell!
Nice, masters. He finds Smeagol and saves him from the nasty fat Orcses. We must hide, Master. More will be coming, yes. Many more Gollum. Into the shadows we must go.
Welcome to Rivendell.
My Lord Denethor! Hammer and
For Rivendell!
I got Trophy Traveler. Prudence tells you to bring Smeagol along with you. Should he be caught by orcs again, you fear the enemy will come to know one of its prisoners to be a person of no small significance. Having twice escaped pursuit, you approach the ruined structure cautiously to study the disposition of your foe. The decayed ruin seems to be a signal tower of old, now serving as a haunt of evil things.
As darkness thickens, orange light from orc fires bathe the dilapidated walls of the ruined tower. Your spirits sink as you witness the last prisoners, no longer wrapped in cocoons, marched into the stronghold. Orcs and goblins seem to be everywhere. How will you get to Bilbo? And if you do, how will you get away? You decide to chance entering the tower through a small door in the tower's eastern side. As you quietly approach, the door snaps open and a group of armed orcs emerge. The last of them brandishes a large key with which it proceeds to lock the door. As the door locks with a dull clunk, the orcs make to start their patrol.
Pickpocket the tower key to defeat enemies until you take it by force.
not on my watch. The dwarves are upon you.
Farewell.
For Rivendell!
passes unnoticed.
Smeagol starts screaming and flailing around. You rush over to calm the wretch. When you place the hand on its shoulder, it spies a gold ring on your finger and pries it off with its teeth. When the ring pops off, Smeagol sniffs at it and then drops it on the ground with disappointment. Now this one's done.
After sneaking through the tower door, you emerge into a huge chamber full of reeking supplies, fallen stones, and intruding vegetation. A number of large chains emerge from openings in the floor along the walls. The chains terminate into an iron box bolted to the far side of the chamber. The box bristles with rusty hooks and mechanical wheels. You glide quietly through the room, keen to avoid attention. You peek into the connecting rooms, hoping for clues as to where the orcs are storing their prisoners. Steps are suddenly heard on the flagstones coming in your direction. After a few moments, a smallish orc enters the chamber to rummage through supplies. The light of its torch happens to catch one of your buckles, causing the orc to glance lazily in your direction. For a second, it seems not to have understood what it's seeing, but then recognition flares in its ugly face.
Final encounter with Smeagol's help, try to find out where Bilbo was taken.
There.
Don't stand there slavering! Get your rabble together!
Fuck's sake. Alright guys, seems like we're in a bit of trouble with this one. But for now I'm going to be ending this stream here. I'm going to take a bit of a break. But if you guys do want to see more, hopefully leave a like on the video. It helps me out greatly. That being said, I'll see you guys next time. Take care guys.